Hey guys, it's Miss Mason here, and this is a project I've been working on. It's a two-parter. So first part, we're going to learn how to do a Tim Burton portrait, and then the next part, we're going to do our own clay animation. So Tim Burton, that's something you probably heard his name a lot, or if you haven't heard his name a lot, you've definitely seen his work. I see you all wear t-shirts with his work all the time, but he is basically a genius. And I'm going to go through some of the things he's known for, but this is him. It's a picture of him. So Timothy Walter Burton, he's an American filmmaker, animator, and artist. You all know him for the movies as Beetlejuice, which is my personal favorite. Edward Scissorhand. You may know him from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factories, the live action Alice in Wonderlands, Frankenweenie, I think I just mentioned that, and Nightmare Before Christmas is a huge fan favorite for you all. And so he has this little special aesthetic, and aesthetic means style. So there's your big fancy artworm aesthetic. And so I love that about him. So anytime you see his work, like all these that are listed down here below, if I see them, see any of those movies, I instantly know they're his. Okay? So here is his Corpse Bride. I think that's a really popular Halloween costume, but love this quote, sums it up for me. This is why I think he is perfect for you all to learn. He said, even if someone was telling me I couldn't draw, I still like doing it. It has always been an important part of my life. And something about when you all enter middle school, you all kind of lose the motivation and the self-esteem to keep drawing. When you all, I've worked with elementary, I've worked with high school, but in elementary school, you walk in second grade, first grade, third grade, whatever, you are not intimidated at all to draw anything I ask of you. But something switches when you're in sixth grade and you start to worry about what other people think, that you don't think it's perfect. So if it can't be perfect, you're not going to do it at all. Forget it. Everybody has their own style and everyone's great in their own way. And Tim Burton is the epitome of that. I love that quote. So here, I told you that he has this aesthetic, this style, and you can tell that is style in all these elongated, creepy people that have kind of a muted palette, and the muted palette's kind of like, you see how that's like the blues and grays and blacks. So I know this Nightmare Before Christmas is a huge fan favorite, and I see a lot of you all wearing the t-shirts. I have not seen it all the way through. I'm hoping by the end of October, I will happily be able to say I've watched the movie all the way. So his style, he plays with proportions, and you're probably thinking, what is a proportion? Dimensions of a composition or relationship between height, width, and depth. So proportion is used will affect how realistic or stylized something seems. So that also, proportion describes the size. So as we saw in the pictures of all these movies, you know, either his heads are really, really circular and his necks are really long and elongated. He has really long arms, kind of almost like spider arms and legs. And he's fantasy. So his genre art depicts magical or other supernatural themes, ideas, creatures, or so on, because you're not going to see a corpse bride. And I know that the gist of Nightmare Before Christmas is he's like the King of Halloween Town or something, or he's like, you know, a really thought of as a dark character, and he has a love interest, and there's Frankenstein, and there's all these goblins and goons and stuff. And that's just all fantasy. So he just really has capitalized on that style. So here's some characters of his characteristics. Here's Beetlejuice. He is very simple. He doesn't have a whole lot. They're elongated. They're expressive. I can definitely look at each one of them, and just even with the simple shape of their eyes, see the expression that's going on in the dark palette. So we see that he does a lot of darks, whites, and blues, grays, that sort of thing. So for your material, for your first part of your project, because this is a two-parter, because you're going to do a 2D project and a 3D project with this, you need white or black construction paper, pencil, and eraser, of course, white, black, gray crayons, and I have a cheat sheet on here that you can follow if you're like, I don't know how to draw like him. So here, this is just a little breakdown of what we're going to do. We're first going to make a portrait. So portrait, that is another fancy art term. That is an artwork of the head and shoulders. So my bubble that you're looking at is a portrait. If you see an artwork of someone's face, it's a portrait. And a portrait is always going up and down as a landscape goes side to side. So this is a portrait. You probably see that whenever you print a picture off in the computer or Word document and it say in the print settings, landscape or portrait. Now you understand what that means. I want you to explore his world. You can research him a little bit more if you'd like. I want you to sketch your ideas. Do a lot of sketches. You don't have to commit to the first one, and pick the one that most resembles you. Okay? And like I said, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh crap, I can't think of anything. Well, I have cheat sheets. So as you can see here, I've created one. So ideas of different shapes of heads, nose, mouth, eyes. So you can just go through and pick, and you don't have to do what's exactly on there. You can do even more. You can add to it if you want. So I just want you to use this as a springboard for your ideas. And as you can see, here's all my sketches. I have this fly. Won't stop bothering me. There's sketches. There's 5 different options that I looked at. And, you know, by the time you get done with 5 or even 10, you can look back and say, well, I like something out of this, and I like this hair out of that, and I like this neck or this mouth. You don't have to commit really fast is what I'm saying. A lot of times whenever you all come in here and start drawing, you want to do it right, get it done. Take your time, enjoy it. And so once the design is picked, get final artwork materials to do your final portrait. So here's my final portrait. I used the black construction paper and I used a white crayon. So now you understand why there is even a white crayon, because everyone's always saying, why is there a white crayon on the box? Because you never know, you may use a black piece of paper. But here's mine. I even put a frame around mine just to make it a little bit snazzier. And there's me beside my Tim Burton. And here is my time lapse of me working on my portrait. I could even go in and I could do more to that probably. I could probably make my face blue to really look like Corpse Bride if I wanted to. Fun stuff. I even did a little background stuff in there too. Okay, and now here is for part 2. I don't know if this is, oh, here we go. Ever wondered how Burton's cartoons look the way they do? Because, we skipped forward. That's because we're done with part 2. You've got that. And that's why I want you, once you get your portrait done, upload it. Send it to me. There's my email, there's my Instagram, and my TikTok. So I want to see this. Check back for part 2, which will be how to make it 3D. So